Hi, I'm Jacqueline Veet, Subject Advisor for Art, Design, and Media at Pearson. In this short video, we will explore the question, what is drawing, in the Art and Design title, Textile Design. This slide contains an excerpt from the Art and Design specification relating to drawing in textile design. Under the heading Drawing and Other Materials Processes, the specification states, drawing is an essential skill in the development process of textile design, from initial visual research, recording from primary sources, through the translation of ideas to finished designs. Drawing in textile design can embrace a range of tools across all areas of study, and outcomes can be digital and/or non-digital. A range of drawing and mark-making methods will encourage students to consider multiple ways of reading, thinking, and applying drawing in different contexts. Within textile design, drawing is present in each stage of the design process. Drawing as visual research, drawing as idea generation, drawing as experimentation, drawing as development, and drawing as outcome. Over the next few slides, you will see a range of drawing examples that can be used throughout the creative process. Drawing in traditional media, such as a pencil or pen, can enable the form and texture seen to be observed. On the right-hand side, you can see how the form can be recreated using textiles media. An oyster mushroom is drawn using gathered strips of fabric, replicating the folds and layers seen in the mushroom. Line and textural qualities can be seen everywhere if we look with purpose. Further examples of how quick, timed sketches from live sources can be used to draw with fabric using pleating and gathering can be found here. On the right-hand side, you can see how the fabric has been manipulated using a running stitch to create a yo-yo. This method forms the circular shape and the ridges seen in the underside of the field mushroom. Smaller drawing methods can be seen below. These include watercolor, mark making, drawing with thread using the free motion stitch setting on the sewing machine, and a couched yarn using a zigzag stitch. These demonstrate small and achievable ways to study form and to replicate lines in a variety of quick developmental ways. An acrylic and oil pastel drawing is used to inform the drawing with textiles media here. The original drawing is printed onto fabric, layered behind handmade felt, drawing with wool fibers. Free machine embroidery is used to quilt and mark make with thread. Soldered fabrics and thread is added for refined embellishment. Hand stitch mark making is added to the surface. On the right-hand side, you can see how sections of the original drawing have been used to inform the selection of materials and placement of techniques. Bullion stitches are used to replicate the dashed lines on the bottom right thumbnail. Using research gathered through primary source photography and observation to draw in 3D form using textiles media and techniques can be found in these examples. A quick and expressive collage has been used to observe a primary source image of seaweed. Using paper, watercolor, and pen, the student has drawn by selecting the color palette. Synthetic fabrics are composed and a fine-tip soldering iron is used as a drawing tool. Some fabrics have had paint applied to replicate the color and texture seen. Free machine embroidery adds elements of drawing with stitch. Photographs can inform drawings, and these can be used to guide drawing with textiles materials. A rusted object is recreated and drawn using textiles techniques. These include a hand-knitted dark brown base, an orange knitted and crochet overlay to replicate the rusted steel, wrapped in couched yarns, and some gathered frayed fabrics. This student can be seen to be drawing here in selecting color, choosing the correct fabrics and techniques to recreate texture and pattern seen in the source image. Abstract mark making of a primary source, fishing net, is created using acrylic ink and a pipette. On the right-hand side, weaving methods are used to recreate the same structure observed. A traditional sketch of fishing rope has been used here to inspire the student to draw with 3D components. Selecting appropriate materials, color consideration, and application of knotting to combine materials. A study of a seascape using paper, collage, watercolor, and paint has informed a series of weaves. There are times when a blank surface can be daunting. This drawing is started by collaging the background with papers and cardboard before a wash is added freely. The painting enables the student to look at movement in the water, color, and texture. A section of the painting can then be abstracted to inform a square weave. The drawing plays a part in allowing the student to focus on which colors to use and where. The student can draw inspiration from the marks seen by adding different materials and different types of stitch. On the left, the student has layered synthetic fabrics, synthetic felt, and upcycled fruit net bags. These are layered and combined using a soldering tool. The soldering tool can make marks, create textures, and join the synthetic fabric layers. On the right-hand side, a drawing has taken place on dissolvable fabric using free motion embroidery. Thread and stitch are used to create a drawing from observing a primary source image and a research sketch. Source photography and traditional sketches observe the form here. This is then drawn using 3D modeling methods using paper and glue to create a solid three-dimensional form. The student then drew the texture of the lichen by stitching onto dissolvable fabric using the free motion stitch setting. This could then be layered onto the 3D painted form. Soldered synthetic fabrics and threads are also added. The student has successfully drawn the lichen on the branch by looking to the source. Free motion embroidery has been used here to mark make on the left, and hand embroidery has been used to draw the details of a human heart. Drawing can be used in the planning stage. Thumbnail drawings include inspirational sources, research, color palette decisions, detail and pattern considerations, placement of techniques on the substrate and the form. Here is another example of how drawing can be used as a part of the planning process. A working drawing on the left is planning how to create a crochet spine. A colored plan on the right shows how techniques can be composed on a substrate before manufacture. Design ideas for the personal response can be drawn by hand, by using CAD, using collage, and a variety of other media. Drawings and techniques from the student's sketchbook are used to collage ideas. Drawing in some way is fundamental to design and successful outcomes. It helps students to look for line, color, pattern, and texture to inform their textiles work. In this textiles drawing, fabrics and lace are layered, hand embroidery and couching is used to draw with textiles materials. Drawings using paint and pen focus on the primary source photography to seek line, texture, and pattern. These then enable the student to draw with textiles materials such as felt, free machine mark making, and embellishment. A drawing here is replicated using knitting, plated components, and thread marks, with a close-up detail on the right. Texture on bark and lichen is drawn initially using pencil here. This is then experimented with by gathering fabrics in various ways. These include shirring with elastic, heat setting, and melting of plastic. Some useful resources include Drawn to Stitch by Gwen Headley, which includes a guide to line drawing and mark making in textiles art. Sketchbook Explorations by Shelley Rhodes shows a wide range of mark making and drawing in a freestyle with experimental tools. This drawing guide gives additional examples of drawing in textile design as well as the other art and design titles. I recommend looking at all of the titles for ideas, not just the title you deliver. For further clarification, advice, and guidance, please feel free to contact us using the support details on this slide. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to supporting you and your center.